Now at 5, why a local man says getting a vasectomy was not as simple as he thought. Plus, the Kansas Special Olympics hosts a bowling competition for area athletes, and
lawmakers hear from both sides about the ripple effects of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. I'm Skyler Henry on Capitol Hill as the House gets ready to vote on 2 abortion-related bills.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin firefighters have apparently gotten control of a fire at a manufacturing plant. This is KOAM News at 5. Firefighters have been battling flames at the Owens Corning Complex on State Line Road. We have no reports of injuries. The fire was reported around 1:45 this afternoon. Some firefighters cut a hole in the roof, apparently to get access to that fire. Others worked inside the building. They appear to have that fire under control. The Owens Corning plant in Joplin makes insulation. In the wake of the recent Supreme Court ruling on abortions, it appears more men are asking about vasectomies and learning where they are and are not available. 32-year-old Chris Hogan of Nevada, Missouri says he went to a doctor at Joplin's Mercy Hospital seeking to have a vasectomy done, but was denied care because it conflicted with the doctor's Catholic beliefs. Hogan wanted the procedure done because his partner has complications with giving birth.
She has health issues that would make it hard for her to become pregnant, but if she did become pregnant, would most likely, end in miscarriage or complications. And so with all the new laws going into effect, we discussed it, and it was just going to be simpler for me to get the vasectomy and just avoid all that altogether. Mercy provided a statement, which we're going to hear tonight at 6. Some area athletes hit the bowling lanes today for a competition. The Kansas Special Olympics hosted a regional bowling competition at Pittsburgh's Holiday Lanes. Aaron Fletcher with Special Olympics Kansas says events like this are important for athletes around the community who are eager to compete.
It's really important for these events to be in our area, so our athletes from around the area can come to someplace actually pretty local and compete against each other, but then also not just compete, but get to see some of their friends, get to be part of the community as far as having the community come out and celebrate them. So it's really nice for the community to come out and celebrate their achievements.
The bowling competition will continue at Holiday Lanes tomorrow. For some, learning history can be a little boring, but the Crawford County Historical Museum wants to make it wacky. The museum today hosted their last Wacky Wednesday of the summer. The theme for today was County Fair. There were snow cones and yard games, puppies to pet, and painting. Officials say the activities allowed children to learn history and have a little fun at the same time.
Every theme, they were able to have some type of hands-on history that was able to teach them more about our local history.
To learn about upcoming events from the Crawford County Historical Museum, visit our website at koamnewsnow.com. Let's check in with Nick Kelly for a first look at the weather.
The heat kicked back in again, Dow, even though we kept things quiet throughout the course of the day. Still looking mostly sunny from 7th and Range Line. In fact, all across the area, we just dealt with mostly clear skies all day. That's due to an area high pressure sending over northern Missouri now, but as it continues to move away toward the east overnight, that's going to bring that southeasterly and southerly wind back in for tonight and tomorrow, and that's just going to encourage more heat and a little more humidity to start working back into the area. In the meantime, though, upper 80s to mid 90s, a bit of a hot start to the evening, but the humidity staying dry, so we're not dealing with the heat index, even though these numbers are running anywhere from 2 to almost 8 degrees above where we were just 24 hours ago. We'll get out of the 90s eventually this evening. We'll fall to the 80s, 70s, down to the upper 60s for tonight. We'll see how high the thermometer will go in the days to come here in a bit.
See you then. Gun control advocates and families impacted by recent tragedies rallied on Capitol Hill today, calling for stricter gun control laws as well as a ban on assault weapons. The Democratic-led House is expected to pass a new bill which would create a communications network to inform communities when active shooters are in their areas. As the House gets ready to pass 2 abortion-related bills later this week, both chambers of Congress took up the issue of reproductive health rights. Skyler Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
I never would have dreamed that I would be able to tell people about my abortion.
Abortion rights activist Sarah Lopez of Texas told a House panel about her personal experience with the procedure.
I wish I didn't have to talk about something so personal in this setting. But I hope that by being here today, people who currently need abortions know that they're not alone.
The committee heard testimony from witnesses who blasted the Supreme Court decision that is expected to lead to abortion bans in about half the states.
I cannot overstate how much legal uncertainty and chaos that this Supreme Court has unleashed.
Lawmakers also heard from witnesses who hailed the Dobbs ruling.
Dobbs gives women a voice and a vote. It presents an opportunity for America to restore a culture that values families, mothers, and women.
The hearing comes as the House is set to vote on 2 abortion-related bills Friday. Neither is likely to go anywhere in the evenly divided Senate. One bill would codify the right to an abortion into federal law. The other would ban states from interfering with a woman's right to travel to get the procedure.
We need more pro-choice senators in the Senate willing to waive the filibuster so we can protect women.
At a Senate Health Committee hearing Wednesday, Democrats said the fight was far from over. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Yesterday, the Justice Department announced that it's created a task force to protect abortion access. Still ahead, a federal report on inflation.
Consumer prices hit another historical high, but there is a sliver of good news. I'm Danya Backus, and I'll tell you what it is.
And next in Health Watch, we're going to learn about a new innovation allowing more people to correct their vision. Today's Health Watch, the U.S. is still experiencing about 350 COVID deaths per day. The latest CDC data show about 5,100 COVID hospitalizations a day, a slight increase from last week, but a doubling since early May. The CDC is urging Americans over age 50 to get that second booster shot. Overdose deaths involving fentanyl and other synthetic opioids are reaching another record high. The CDC says close to 109,000 people died of drug overdoses for the year-long period that ended in February. According to the CDC, there was a slight dip in these fatalities in June, but they've risen again in the latest monthly data. However, nearly 73,000 deaths, more than 2/3, were linked to synthetic opioids, including fentanyl, which set a new record. The pandemic has brought a significant increase in vision complaints, partly from spending more time than ever staring at screens. Some could find a solution in the new innovation in vision correction, implantable contact lenses. Reporter Danya Backus shows us how they work.
All right, let's take a look.
Powell Robinson has used corrective lenses since first grade. Now working as a cinematographer and director, his contacts had become a constant misery.
The inflammation from wearing them for super long hours was making my vision get a little blurry, my eyes would get super dry, and it was just getting sort of unsustainable.
To help correct his vision and ditch his contact lenses, his eye doctor suggested a procedure known as Evo Visian ICL.
The Evo ICL is a permanent implantable contact lens that's placed in the eye instead of a contact lens that you would wear on the surface of the eye where you have to constantly take out and put back in.
Dr. Netta Shami is an ophthalmologist with the Maloney Shami Vision Institute. She says the procedure is ideal for treating myopia, otherwise known as nearsightedness, and offers an alternative to LASIK surgery, which works by changing the anatomy of the eye.
The Evo Visian ICL procedure has been approved overseas for 10 years, with more than 1 million surgeries performed. Here in the United States, it was approved by the FDA in late March.
It hits the market just as eye complaints are soaring. Myopia is increasing so rapidly, an international study estimates half the global population could be nearsighted in the next 30 years.
This is the best you could see without your glasses and contact lenses prior to surgery.
The implants take just 8 to 10 minutes per eye, and the improvement is nearly immediate.
It's pretty weird to wake up in the morning and just see.
A new window on the world, which Robinson describes as life-changing. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The procedure costs between $2,500 and $5,000 per eye. Because it's an elective surgery, it's not generally covered by health insurance. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Jude from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about how microchips work.
But first, we kept things quiet for today, but I'm tracking more heat and possibly some rain chances coming our way. Forecast next. We kept things pretty quiet for today. In fact, we had so much dry air in place. We actually had temperatures almost turned a bit chilly to start this morning out. We can see how we started out, a lot of us in the lower to middle 60s. This was nice, refreshing air to have, but the same dry air that got us to cool down so much, it's the same culprit for our fast warm-up throughout the day, back into the lower to middle 90s this afternoon. A quick update on the drought tracker, because we haven't checked on this in a while, but it's certainly appropriate considering tomorrow morning we will get a fresh update to this map, and we'll see if the rain that we picked up on the other day is either going to give us maybe slight improvements to our abnormally dry conditions, or if it's going to keep any expanding of the droughts at bay. So that's one thing we're tracking as we go into tomorrow, but over the next several days, I've got mostly sunny skies locked in for another quiet Thursday lining up for us. Watching some potential rain chances that I've been trying to perk up as we go into the coming weekend. But even with that, I'm planning on temperatures, unfortunately, staying on the hot side for the next several days. So it may feel hot outside, but at least it looks nice with mostly sunny skies from Indigo Sky outside of Seneca, Missouri. And from 7th and Rangeline, where we currently sit at 94. Northeast breeze at 10, though, still keeping the humidity low at 25%. In fact, it feels a little bit cooler because of that. It feels like 91, so not really dealing with the heat index, which we'll certainly take, given how a lot of us are either between 90 and about 95 degrees. And not to mention, these numbers certainly warmer than the other day, sure, but not terribly so, anywhere from 1 to maybe 8 degrees at worst case scenario. Eventually, though, we'll get out of the 90s as we continue through the evening. We'll be at 77, for example, by 10 o'clock, but then ultimately back down into the upper 60s to start your Thursday morning out as we continue with quiet skies, which we've seen all day long. Thanks to high pressure at the surface, but this front to the north and west, that's the front that's going to try to get close to us at least as we head toward the coming weekend. And then we'll focus on the jet stream level, because waves building and working around the ridge will try to come on in and try to contribute to our weekend rain chances. But overall, you can see what's trying to return. That upper ridge certainly centered across the desert southwest. In the short term, though, before any more of that upper level ridge can build in, we'll just sit quiet underneath mostly clear skies, if not completely clear skies tonight. Lows with the dry air in place will drop us back into the upper 60s. Maybe just a slight uptick in the humidity tomorrow, but we're keeping it still relatively low. But we are definitely going to plan on seeing that thermometer inch ever closer to 100, but I think a lot of us stopping just short of it. 68 in the morning, 93 by noon. Got to top out at 99, though, for the afternoon, and we'll do it again for Thursday. Dropping back into the lower 70s for Friday morning, actually. And then you can see how cloud cover starts to build in, even with highs pushing into the upper 90s. That's ahead of the front that's going to park itself just to the north. And we'll watch for any slight disturbances riding along the jet. You can see how Saturday, Sunday especially, that could try to flare up some rain chances that hopefully we can cash in on. And then throughout the course of the week, we can see how that ridge wants to try and recede back to the west a little bit. So we'll keep a close eye on that and hopefully keeping a lot of any triple-digit potential at bay. Let's go 99 tomorrow, 97 Friday, back near 100 Saturday, then 93 on Sunday. Then we're just dealing with mid-90s to 100. So even with all these systems coming in, Dow, we're going to stay mainly hot for the next several days.
Yeah, close to 100 is certainly hot.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Nick. Coming up, what a new federal report shows about inflation. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Charles Cicero served in the U.S. Army from 1941 to 1945. With roots in Franklin and Annapolis, Kansas, he was stationed in Europe, and we salute Sergeant Charles Cicero, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, prices for almost everything we buy have been on the rise for months. And a new report shows it's only getting worse. Reporter Danya Bacchus has the latest.
Amazon has a catchy song to promote its annual Prime Day, which offers thousands of deals. But this sale comes as the cost of living hits a sour note. Consumer prices jumped 9.1% in June, the largest increase in 4 decades. A look inside the numbers shows the cost of rent rose at a rate not seen since 1991. Prices at the grocery store saw the largest one-year increase since 1979, and gas soared nearly 60% in June.
It really impacts lower household incomes much more dramatically than anyone else.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the high prices are making it difficult for many Americans to make ends meet.
Don't forget, a lot of Americans have used the excess savings that they accumulated during the pandemic, stimulus checks, unemployment benefits.
There is a bit of good news. Gas prices are dropping. AAA says gas prices are down almost 40 cents a gallon in the past month.
But drivers like Joanne Ward told us it still costs too much to fill up.
I mean, any little bit's good, but we could be paying a whole lot less.
The Federal Reserve is expected to once again raise interest rates later this month in an attempt to ease price hikes, but there won't be an immediate effect.
It can really lag. So the impact of those rate increases takes a while to trickle through the economy.
Schlesinger says inflation may not start to ease until the fall. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Those inflation numbers were compared to a year ago. The latest report also shows new car prices increased more than 11% from last year, and airline tickets are up 34%. Twitter is suing Elon Musk over a $44 billion corporate marriage he called off before they made it to the altar. The lawsuit seeks to force the Tesla CEO to go through with his planned takeover. In the suit, Twitter accuses Musk of outlandish and bad faith action. Twitter says Musk's change of heart caused the platform irreparable harm and wreaked havoc on its stock price. On Friday, Musk alleged that Twitter failed to provide sufficient information about the number of fake accounts on its platform. Many travelers are less happy with their stays away from home. According to J.D. Power's 2022 North America Hotel Guest Satisfaction Index study, the overall score was 822 out of 1,000. That's an 8-point fall from the year before. Now, while that might not seem like a major dip, J.D. Power calls it, quote, statistically significant due to the size of that survey. Findings are based on more than 34,000 hotel guests for a year-long period that ended last May. Our pet vet on call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the father of one of the Uvalde school shooting victims responds after surveillance video of the shooting is released. Then on KOAM News at 6, a Joplin woman who pleaded guilty to killing 2 people while driving under the influence is sentenced for drug trafficking. And we're going to hear more from a man who was denied a vasectomy at a Joplin hospital. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Sometimes even a fence isn't enough to keep a pet in the yard. Today's question for our pet vet on call: does the chip in a cat track its position?
As of yet, no. That chip is just intended to be a permanent identification. It contains a number, and the way it works is that number must be registered with the company that produced the chip. And it needs to be registered at the local humane society, at your veterinarian, maybe even in the police department, because then or otherwise they can't be found. The one thing that you must remember is that not everybody has a chip reader, and it is your ultimate responsibility to keep looking for that cat until you find it.
We invite questions from anyone. If you have one, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Now let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen this little male kitten. His name is Kit Kat, because of course it is. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we've chosen this smiley guy. It's a 2-year-old Red Heeler Golden Retriever mix. Might have some other breeds in there too. His name is Bucky. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? They always have a lot of great ones to choose from.
Absolutely.
Weather, blue skies at the moment.
Yeah, and those clear skies will continue tonight. That'll drop us back into the upper 60s, but the same dry air before humidity can start building back in tomorrow. It's going to push us near 99. A few spots could hit 100. We'll stay in the upper 90s Friday and Saturday, but by the weekend, fingers crossed, we cash in on some additional rain chances and hopefully knocking us back down to 93 by Sunday.
That would be welcome. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.